Is live now, and I'll do the coin flip on stream so everyone can see. It is tails. Live now, and I'll do the coin flip on stream so everyone can okay, so yeah, this is the last week one game. I need to mute my stream because that's getting pretty loud. Let me posting group. Okay. So yeah, this is the final game of the week one. I think it's the final game, hopefully. The week one for the Capital One circuit in the upper bracket. It will be the Worrying Trends versus Team 11. Worrying Trend versus Team 11 live now. Hooray! Alright. So yeah. There was a little bit of a delay. We were supposed to start at 6 p.m. but Chief Raccoon, he came in just in the nick of time to be able to play this game. So thank you for being able to show up and give everybody a chance to play. Chief Raccoon, other team, are you ready? This game, so thank you for being able to show up and give. Believe we are just waiting to get into the draft now. Alright, here it is. I do want to put on the spoiler tags real quick, just so that nobody can use the stream to ghost and see what the other enemy is running. First bands coming out right out of the gate are Viger and Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai is kind of an interesting band, because that might be a comfort champion for the jungler for Worrying Trend on the blue team, but guess we'll wait and see. Lulu, pretty standard ban because she is so useful in this meta where you have carry top laners, or you can transition that into a Juggernaut / Jugger Jinx type of composition. Gangplank and Fiora also going to be banned on the red side. That is not surprising at all. Those two champions are pretty good right now. Speaking of good, so is Darius. That's going to be instantly first picked. And Lutano hovering the Lee Sin. Throwback to a couple of years ago, Lee Sin was his favorite champion in the whole game, and he actually did get to Challenger with that champion in the jungle. But it looks like he might be going for the Tahm Kench first pick. Now, Tahm Kench is a champion that has been so strong as of late. Last year, with with teams like Samsung White and, well, pretty much everyone at the Worlds Championship last year was playing Janna. And this year there's been a distinct lack of Janna in tournament play because Tahm Kench has been so good. Tahm Kench basically provides what you want out of Janna, but it also gives the added fact that because you eat your 80 carry, they're literally untargetable. So Janna can get counterpicked by something like an Olaf, because Olaf can just pop the Ragnarok and run through the enemy team, but Tahm Kench does allow that to go through. I do want to go back a little bit to the Rek'Sai ban, which is a little strange because Rek'Sai is a champion that isn't really overbearing at any stage of the game. She's just pretty much decent throughout the early, mid, and late stages, but you don't really see her be too dominant as opposed to something like Elise or Lee Sin, which can completely destroy early game, or something like a Shyvana late game where once you get Devour, that can completely destroy the enemy. So a little bit curious there. I'm surprised he didn't actually ban Elise instead, because that's one of the few champions that can actually duel Lee Sin in the jungle early on. So, but blue team going to be going for the Vi Morgana on the second rotation picks. That's pretty solid overall. Vi means that they will have guaranteed engage on a target, provided that they do not get devoured by the Tahm Kench, because even if you do Vi ult, Tahm Kench can still eat the AD carry, and because they are untargetable, the Vi's ult cannot go through. And that is one way to save them. So I really do like that first round pick on the Tahm Kench. And because Vi gets countered like that, it might have been better to go more toward an AoE style team composition, because the thing that Tahm Kench does not do as well when compared to Janna is provide the AoE peel. He is the best in the game for saving a single target against champions like Morgana and Vi, especially because they focus on singling out single targets. But if you're playing against an AoE team composition, if Tahm Kench eats somebody, you can still destroy the rest of the team. So I think blue team might not really be reacting to the picks of red's side as well as maybe they would like to, but they can still have the Vi focus the top lane. And even though it is Renekton, who is a champion that is probably the most dominant in the top lane, you can still probably get a kill with just simply because Darius's base damages are so high. And I do remember casting the Team 11's game versus Team 12, I believe. Team 11 being Lutano and friends, and their top lane actually fell behind pretty significantly. So I think the Renekton is mostly just to make sure he doesn't fall too far behind in lane, because Renekton is so hard to bully out, and we'll see if Vi decides to try to focus that lane or if she goes somewhere else. Now, we do see an Orianna coming out. That is a lot of the AoE I was wanting, and Sivir allowing Darius to be able to get into the purple team's back lines will be pretty useful. So I do like blue team's composition overall. You do have the Orianna as a backup if your single target still gets cleared through, but they don't have as much disengage. So if they start to fall behind, it might be a little bit difficult for them to be able to safely escape. That being said, when I say they don't have that much disengage, they still have the Dark Binding from Morgana. Orianna's dissonance is pretty decent at slowing, and the On the Hunt from Sivir will provide them a pretty good avenue for that. So it's not the end of the world by any means, and that being said, Purple Team also doesn't have that great of a primary engage on their side. They're very focused on the disengage because they have the Azir, Buster Shot from Tristana, Tahm Kench, obviously good at running away because you get the bonus movement speed when you devour somebody, and Dragon's Rage on Lee Sin to be able to disengage even further. However, the Tristana Tahm Kench lane does hurt a lot, so we'll see if Tristana is able to shove that early. Especially if Lee Sin roams to the bottom side, they might be able to get some early turret damage and maybe even some gold in the early game and be able to snowball that to the rest of the map. Also, the Azir will be out shoving Orianna for a while, or maybe throughout the whole game, I believe, just because the auto attacks from his Sand Soldiers are so useful at cleaving through multiple enemy minions. And I do want to point out that Vi is a pretty strong duelist, but Lee Sin is one of the people that can simply just rough up her day just because Crippling Strike slows the attack speed so much. And I just got a notification from my headset that I'm about to run out of battery, so let me just plug it in real quick so that I don't randomly lose all my sound during the game. Luckily, I am not speaking through my headset, so you guys will still be able to hear me just fine. But I would still rather not be completely deaf to this game. And now that the game has actually started loading in, we can talk about the summoner spells. Forseti saying, "Go Lutano." Alright, just trying to give a morale boost to his friend right there. No Like TV saying, "Ew, wireless headset." Man, you do not know the ways. Wireless headset means I can go cook dinner or chill on the couch, sit on my bed, and I can still listen to stuff on the computer. It's pretty nice, but anyways, I'm getting a little distracted. I'm really curious to see that both of the mid laners are running cleanse, and I'm not really surprised that Azir is doing it because you have the binding and Well, just pretty much the binding. That's really scary in and of itself. But the Morgana also going for the cleanse, which is a little strange because really the only single target things you have are Tahm Kench and Renekton. And Tahm Kench is probably going to be using his Devourer mostly for peel, and Renekton is going to be trying to stun Sivir. So, interesting choice there. The cleanse, well, I guess it can help a little bit if you get slowed or something like that, so that might just be a personal preference, but I might have preferred to see a teleport, just because it's really difficult for Azir to get that much kill pressure on you in lane, and I think running the teleport is just a safer bet overall. If you get too far harassed, you can just go back, teleport back into the lane, or use that for more global map pressure. But we'll see if Medea does make that work, and I'll try to keep an eye out to see if there's a point in the game where the cleanse actually helped him stay alive. I also want to point out that Anchi is running Exhaust on Morgana. And so that's fairly interesting. I mean, it is good to run Exhaust against things like Azir and Tristana, who most of their damage is just from auto attacks, but we'll see if... Where is Forsetti? Oh well, I was gonna message him. Oh well. Guess there he is, but too late. I do have an iTunes update, so I should probably close out of that real quick. But all right, we are gonna get into game. Again, hopefully the loading screen does not crash. Thank goodness. Earlier in the week, I had a problem where my game client was crashing whenever I tried to spectate a game. Wow, Prehistoric Renekton. I think this is actually the first time I've seen it in game, so I do want to give him props for that. That's pretty sweet. Although the rest of his team isn't really rocking any skins. So it's just Prehistoric Renekton versus the triple skin team on red side for Worrying Trend, or blue side for Worrying Trend. So I will give Worrying Trend the advantage here in Skintimidation. We are in the game. I'll put up the team names. And alright, here we go. Let me just rearrange these for people. In terms of level 1, I think blue side has an advantage because they do have the dark binding, which is pretty much better than anything else that red side has. They do, red side does have Lee Sin, which provides a lot of early game damage, but good luck, have fun's coming out. And actually, blue side is going for a really safe kind of spread here, although you don't need 2 people in the bottom side if you're trying to ward safely. You can have the Darius come up, watch this, have mid laners watch here, then have 2 people here and the jungler over here. Now, you'd only do that for the first minute or so to spot really early invades, and then you can start roaming around or throw out some wards and get down to do your camp for the bottom side. Now, doing the camp for your bottom lane does give them a huge experience advantage, so that they'll be able to hit level 2 much earlier. And with Morgana, that let's see if she's actually leveled an ability yet. Okay, she has not leveled an ability yet. We'll see if she goes for, or what she goes for. The level 2 power spike for Morgana isn't that huge because you can still start Dark Binding if you really want to, and that's pretty much what Morgana brings to the lane anyways. The Black Shield isn't going to be a huge factor against Tahm Kench because Tahm Kench should not really get that close to Sivir anyways. But having that experience... Okay, so they are actually going to have the jungler in the top lane do a level 2 start here. This is basically the same concept. Spook Nuke will get level 2, and he should actually tank most of the creeps so that the new essayist can then continue to do his jungle without taking much damage at all. Actually, the new essayist is going to be taking most of the damage there, so that's kind of interesting. I think because with Darius, because when you do this with your top laner, the top laner is going to go back to base and teleport to lane anyways, you can pretty much take the damage. That's what Lutano and Chief Raccoon are doing here, because once Chief Raccoon goes back, you can heal all that up and Lutano will still be at full health. But looks like okay, they do switch that for the red buff, so they fix it up in the end. Doesn't really matter. They're both level 2, going to be going back to the tower and try to teleport against each other. Renekton did get 3 CS as opposed to Darius' 2, so actually early wards coming out from both of them. So I do really like that because there are pretty aggressive early junglers on both sides. And Darius Renekton is a lane that can get pretty heated since both of them do put out so much damage. Renekton should win the lane overall just simply because you can slice in, stun Q, and dice out. And he will have more sustain than Spook Nuke. Although he is taking a lot of the bleed damage from Spook Nuke, but not gonna matter because Spook Nuke does take a lot in return. So interesting to know that he did go for the Doran Shield start, so that's indicative of trying to be a little more passive. So Lee Sin will probably be ganking the bottom side. We did see him start further Krugs, which does give him the perfect positioning for this. He's at full health, but blue team does have a ward here. Are they going to spot it out? Anchi uses their Dark Binding already on Tom Kench. I don't know if Lutan will be able to do this, but actually Spook Nuke hooks or apprehends Chief Raccoon back inside. So Lutano going to be backing off there. We saw it in the last... Oh, actually, New SAS flashes forward with the Vault Breaker, but does not get the kill, as Renekton does have a pretty well-timed flash. Not the perfect flash, because he could have done it before the Q landed, but that's why the new SAS actually charged the Q, and then while she was charging it, she flashed forward and then released it, because that pretty much gives the enemy top laner 0 time to react if he's trying to use it to dodge your Q. So just showing some mastery on that champion. And Lutano does take the Krugs from his enemy jungler, so he'll get a little bit of an experience advantage. And good job dodging the Dark Binding. I don't think they'll be able to really transition this into a kill because his bottom lane is still far back, and they're so close to the turret already. And wow, Chief Raccoon and Spook Nuke still continuing to trade against each other. If he had Apprehender, that might have been pretty bad. Ooh. Good job by Chief Raccoon, skirting the perimeters of the Decimate, being able to stay alive here, and he's doing pretty fine. Vi gonna be returning Lee Sin favor in kind, takes those Krugs, and Renekton really has to watch out because he's getting lower and lower, and now Vi's coming at full health. He wants to time this so that once one of them gets the aggro, he stuns him on the turret. Actually, Spook Nuke goes in a little early, and he should have been over here, but he does get the return kill, so trading 1 for 1. The new SAS gets first blood, while Lee Sin is just continuing to farm his jungle, so it does give him about a 300 gold lead in the jungle. We'll see if Lutano is able to make something happen mid. I think he might just be trying to steal the Raptors. Just take the Raptors, put a ward there, pretty standard. Yep, that is exactly where he goes, knowing that the new SAS will have to take some time to get back into the jungle. So although Lutano wasn't able to get a kill off, he's doing what he can to at least maximize his jungle efficiency so far. Speaking of which, he could have gotten the Scuttle Crab, but I guess he didn't really want to, or he wanted to get back in time to buy some items to make something happen around the map without spending too much time simply farming. Does pick up a pink and a green ward. Also want to point out that both top laners did buy another green ward, so very safe purchases from both these top laners, and it has it's kind of paid off. They obviously Lee Sin hasn't even been to the top side, so hasn't really. Actually, Chief Raccoon uses both Slice and Dice onto Spook Nuke to reduce his armor because he was able to get the stun off without dashing in. So gets a little bit extra harass there. That's pretty nice, and he does go for a pickaxe first item. That kind of shows how comfortable he feels in this matchup. Even though he got ganked and died for the first blood, he started the Doran Shield into a really aggressive pickaxe. So I would think that Renekton feels like he can start to dominate this lane. We'll see if Vi tries to punish that. You can see she's, again, on the top side, seeing if she can gank, but a good response by Lee Sin. He's already here in the lane. Gonna see if he can gank through that lane bush. Now, the new SAS does walk over a ward, but if Renekton is smart, he'll pretend like he did not see her. He is playing a little far back now, so Vi's gonna leave, and now Lee Sin is here. Is Spook Nuke gonna go in? They need to make something happen. Stun now! Lee Sin, where are you going? Okay, so he does go in now. Waits a bit, half of a second. I don't think it'll make a difference. So Chief Raccoon actually just completely destroys him by himself. All he needed was the cripple from Lutano. A little bit of a delay when Chief Raccoon engaged there. Lutano could have come out at exactly the same time, but didn't end up costing them at all. That means Chief Raccoon is going to be up in gold, 300 already, which is exactly the value of that kill. And he does still have his teleport, so if now blue side has to watch out if they try to play aggressively in the bottom lane, because Renekton doesn't even have to teleport back to this lane. He can just spend his time walking back, and we'll see if Renekton continues to finish this into a Tiamat. Yeah, so that pickaxe definitely paying off in the early game. Meanwhile, Medea running the cleanse. I do want to point out, if she had teleport there, that she might have been able to change the turn of the tides in that, because just seeing the teleport alone might have been enough to scare them off, but I'm not sure if they would have really been able to prevent that kill. So just trying to point out possibility of maybe where an instance of teleport would have been useful. And now Vi taking a page out of Lutano's book, but a great shotgun lands on two of them. Tom Kent saying, "Come with me if you want to live." And he does manage to get out of there and flashes. New SA is going to be seeing if he can go in. The ultimate comes out. Here it comes. Nagus Kemba instantly gets the lead. Now Lutano is here. He joins a little bit after the fact, and he's going to go down too. Now Juicebox guy does use the Emperor's Divide to get Aigo out undeterred, but he's going to get eaten up by Tom Kench to jump away to safety. So well played by the Tom Kench there, but Vi was still there with that assault and battery to follow through on an extra kill. And it paid off. Now that doesn't mean they're going to get the bottom turret and probably transition that into an early dragon. And you can see Chief Raccoon actually going all in on the Spook Nuke. He tries to dodge the Decimate, but actually just gets hit by that tip. And then there comes the Noxian Guillotine. Darius turning that lane around. Now that he got that kill, he does have 1,000 gold, so he'll be able to buy the Kindle Gem and continue to try to bully Renekton a little bit. Yeah, if Renekton were actually to stand really close to Spook Nuke's body, the Q wouldn't have done as much damage, but I don't think it really would have saved him there, so just not really abusing the fact that Renekton has better sustain in the long term than Darius, so he does get punished for that. And now Lee Sin is middle again. I don't know if he can really make that work, because he does get spotted out by a pink ward, and not going to check the bush. He might be a little afraid if it was pretty obvious that Wearing Trend had a vision of him. He didn't know who was lurking in that jungle, but Tom Kench is pretty confident himself. He's like, you know what? I don't care. I'm a frog. I've been unbenched, and Anshi actually does land Dark Binding. This is why Lutano didn't want to go in there himself, but he's just doing the Gromp. So Basta Ball Freak 101 just dies for nothing. He did not even get that pink ward. Now all of them are going to group in the mid lane. This is not looking good for Team 11. Worrying Trend feeling pretty happy right now. They're able to turn around the top lane, and they've just simply had better rotations as a team. Tom Kendra's going to clear that ward, and Lutano should have either told him to back off or gone to support him, because if Lutano were there, he could have used the Dragon Rage to escape, but just a little bit disjointed, it seems, from the red side. And Chief Raccoon just going to be continuing to shove the lane. Because he has a Tiamat, he will be pushing that lane constantly, so not really sure if he wants to keep doing that without putting down his green ward. I don't think they have Vision of Vibe, but now they do, because she's in the mid lane. Miss Juicebox guy does shove her under a turret, and is he going to be able to survive, though? A lot of damage coming out, and Lee Sin does pick up that kill. Was in the right place at the right time. Trading 1-for-1 for both junglers. And Darius does get multiple stacks on Chief Raccoon. When Chief Raccoon was trying to get away, he does actually get the apprehend, but here comes Noxian Guillotine. Not going to be enough. That will force Renekton out of the lane, though. And here comes Tom Kench. Is he going to use his ultimate to roam over there really quickly? Looks like they don't want to for whatever reason. But now Lee Sin does miss the Sonic Wave, and Darius just walks away for free. So I don't know if they've really practiced playing with the Tom Kench before, but a couple of blunders just coming out in terms of using in terms of the teamwork between the abilities. So hold on, let me just respond to chat real quick. Forseti cheering for. Alright. They were just asking a little bit of something about something I referenced earlier. And now they do set up ward control around Dragon. I wonder if Red Team really even can do this, because they are down by 2,000 gold so far, and Darius' teleport is up. And he is stronger than Renekton. Well, he actually cancels his back there, so he won't really use that 800 gold. Which means that they have pretty much equal threat in these team fights. Darius, of course, does get that new 5-stack passive once he gets somebody with the Noxian Guillotine. So, once he gets a killer assist, rather. Which does make him really scary to have in a prolonged fight. And looks like both teams are actually just going to kind of throw out some wards in the General River area, mostly defensive, and then back off. They do... Whirring Trend does have a ward on this side, but now Lee Sin is actually taking his red buff. So if Whirring Trend wanted to do Dragon, they could just start it right now, and Team 11 wouldn't be able to respond at all. They do... I think because they have control of the mid lane, or of the river, sorry, they should just try to clear out some of these wards. I think they're a little scared, but honestly they don't really have to be, because they have the Orianna and the Vi to force something if they want to, and instead they're just going to scare Tristana away. Now Tristana's back, so this is the longer they wait to do this Dragon, the more time they're just simply wasting, and giving to the Azir and Lee Sin a really interesting path around just to make sure that there wasn't any ward up there. But now they're actually just going to walk through the turret. Darius does use everything to try to go in onto Renekton, but here comes Lutano and Juicebox Guy. The Emperor's Divide does not land. Oh my gosh, are they going to be able to get this kill? Yes, but Chief Raccoon is going to go down for that. A 3v1, and they come out even. And Aigu Wow and friends on the bottom side instantly respond with a Dragon. They could have done it a little earlier, but just playing it a little bit safe. They still come out ahead on both sides of the... Well, not on both sides of the map, but they do come out ahead, trading the turret for the Dragon. And now we do have a pause coming in. Renekton has FPS lag, and he is relogging. Reloading, I should say, because Lutano spelled that with 1G, but I'll let that slide. So if we look at where the gold is so far, it's been pretty much everywhere except the mid lane for Whirring Trend, which is pretty fine. I mean, getting your Vi ahead is not bad at all, because if you want to duel the Lee Sin, having the extra gold to fight him will be really helpful. That being said, she hasn't really been invading at all or playing that aggressively in terms of the jungle v jungle, but we've seen her play going super all in with her Assault and Battery in the bottom lane, so being able to get that extra damage out does help you secure the kill even more. And also, in the dive we just saw in the top lane, Juicebox Guy didn't have the best communication with Lutano there. I believe the Dragon's Rage and the Emperor's Divide came out at the same time, so... Okay, it looks like Renekton is back in the game, so we might restart in a bit. But yeah, he did not really hold on to that ultimate cooldown, which allowed Darius to get under turret before he died, and that led to him trading 1-for-1. So the fact that he did get that return kill was pretty impressive overall, although more gold did go over to the red side from that, because they do get the extra from assists. Aigu Wow and Anchi actually going to continue to shove out this bottom side lane and going to steal the blue buff, just because they didn't have to fight at all for that Dragon, so they're still all at full health. And I do want to see them put a little more wards in the enemy jungle. They had so much control of this area for so long. They only have a ward at Gromp, and this side of the map should really be completely lit up. That being said, they did just put another one right here, but maybe buying a few more pinks would have been helpful for that. So they do get a couple now. You see one on both Sivir and Darius. And Darius really wants to put that in his jungle now that he does not have a turret. And Azir, Lutano have shown that they are willing to go through the jungle to gank him. He actually wards very far up here, which means that if they go for another deep invade to gank him, he will stop die yet again, but he's gonna go back, so not a huge deal. I don't really like this pink ward placement, because if he's going back right now, then Lutano can just walk over and kill it. So putting it at the blue buff, I think, would be a much safer, or at the entrance to your jungle, and have this ward placed somewhere else. But looks like new SAS is going to be trying to look at mid lane. We can see that the Tristana really hasn't done anything in terms of turret pushing. And that might have been, they might have wanted to consider a lane swap, but just because Tristana will be able to kill the turrets faster than Sivir. But I guess they wanted to keep it in the 1v1 lane, especially. Oh my gosh, but meanwhile, Shockwave going out, instant devour from Tom Kench keeps him nice and safe. But yeah, I can understand if they didn't want to do a lane swap, because Anchi's Dark Bindings have been pretty decent, so that's obviously very scary if you're in a 1v2 situation and you get bound. Now, Renekton does throw it out the stun and gets away. He looks like he's playing a little more passively now that he's actually died to Darius twice. So if you look at the gold, Darius is ahead a little, but the amount that he is ahead by is in his inventory, so that's not really reflected in item advantage. But meanwhile, since Tristana's in the bottom lane, the blue team just able to shove this in and get the turret. Now, you do have Azir for some wave clear, but it looks like he got poked out pretty decently earlier, and when you're playing against the Vi, you really can't afford to stay at the turret like that. Speaking of staying around, Tristana's making the run of her life now. I think she actually wants to just execute herself. I think that is what's going to happen. Anchi and Vi are going to try to get over here. The flash actually comes out. Oh, no! Anchi does clip him with the Dark Tormented Soil, so she gets the kill. A lot of stuff burned for that, but Tristana does get the bottom turret, and she does go for the Avarice Blade, so she'll be able to hit her two-item spike a little bit sooner than she would have otherwise. It's pretty even in gold, only down 100 for the Sivir, and we'll see if, once she goes back, if that actually turns into an item advantage. But Darius has now finished his Black Cleaver and the Ninja Tabby, as opposed to Renekton still only on components of several items. And Lee Sin actually goes in and flashes to be able to Dragon's Rage, but he doesn't even ever do it. And now Tom Kench has to try to save Azir. Lutano almost getting Medea, does get him with the last Sonic Wave and Resonating Strike. Actually, did not even use Resonating Strike, but it's Balfik, does not promise Grey Health, and he goes down. A misplay from him. He should not have died there. Iagu out chasing away Azir, and now the Crocodile is alone by himself, but he does get spooked and dashes away, saying, if I'm going to turn into leather shoes, then so are you, buddy. I don't know what the new SAS is doing here, but that is a turret, in fact, so not the best idea to just tank that outright. They will be able to kill this, though, get a little bit extra money in their pockets. Does give them each 50 gold, and I do really like the ward coverage Red's team has put in the enemy jungle here. We saw that when Worrying Trend was in the enemy jungle, they only put 1 or 2 wards, not very deep, but Lutano and Renekton have actually put in several wards across the exit, so they do know they're getting blue buff. And is Lutano actually going to try to go for an assassinate here? But no, it is a 2v1, so he should want to just walk out of there. Azir nearby if he needed to roam, but instead he's just going to continue to shove the turret. And Lee Sin is actually wrapping around, does get spotted out by that ward, so I think he's going to go back and baits Medea into coming in range of the Sonic Wave. Here comes the rest of blue team saving that turret. They're going to back up. Tristana again going to the bottom side of the map means that they were not able to get that turret. If she had roamed a minute earlier into the mid lane, that would have fallen from her explosive charge. So not quite maximizing the utility of the champion, I would say. They could have allowed this wave to continue to kind of push into their inner turret, because that's very dangerous for blue team to all roam over there while Team 11 has this huge line of wards to spot them moving, and then be able to get back to that turret after taking down mid lane. Unfortunately, that does not happen, and they are going to actually start a dragon for the red side is actually going to start a dragon, because everyone on blue is either top or mid lane, so this is pretty much going to go down without contest. And Lutano probably doesn't want to go in there because he's a little bit outnumbered, but he does get a good Dragon Rage onto Medea. Azir going to be blocking off the rest of the team. Here comes Spook Nuke, though. I'm going to be able to pull off this 4v2. Here comes Renekton from the other side. Looks like he popped his stun onto Aigu. Wow. And Lutano's almost going to go down. He gets eaten by Tahm Kench. And Lutano is continuing to bleed there, but I think they'll be able to get out. And they're a little bit disjointed. Oh my gosh, max range! Boomerang from Aigu. Wow, picks that one up. And here comes the new SAS. Just wants to kill Negus Kemba. He does get the assault battery, but he does get the rocket jump to get out of there alive. That means that blue team only gets one, but that's going to be the inner turret. And are they going to follow this up with a Baron? I don't think they want to, but if Azir comes in, that'd be super dangerous. So I think they're just going to back off. They are already fairly low, but they're actually pinging it. So no, that's red team pinging it. So just aware of the fact that they could do a Baron attempt. Juicebox guy walks into that bush, and they don't have any vision of the Baron, so they don't actually know if they're doing it or not. So throws some soldiers over there and sees that everything is a-okay. Now red side really needs to clear out all the wards in their jungle. You can see that none of these sweepers are really upgraded yet, which is a bit of a problem, and nobody has any pink wards in their inventory, so this is just going to allow these pink wards to stay here indefinitely unless they use one of their basic sweepers to try to clean that up. But I think being able to deny complete vision of Wearing Trent's team would be pretty helpful. Now Medea going pretty aggressively here. The Emperor's Divide only hits one person, but he actually goes down to Spook again, and Assault Battery goes on to Lutano. Is he going to be able to get out of there? He uses the safeguard. I don't know if Renekton is going to be able to survive, though. It's already 1 for 2. That's going to be 2 for 2. Blue team comes out evenly, but they have more health, so they're going to continue to shove in aggressively here. Deadman's Plate is picked up by Darius after his last back. That means he will have extra movement speed to be that much more of a threat. And Renekton does have his Tiamat finally, but that's his only completed item versus Darius's 2-item completion. So just Spook Nuke is a little more useful now, and as we continue further and further into the game, Darius is just going to be able to continue to put out more consistent damage than Renekton, who is more of an early game powerhouse. That being said, Renekton still does get the Ruthless Predator, which is always useful as a single target stun. He just needs to make sure that when he goes onto Sivir that she does not spell shield that. So anyways, Worrying Trend grabbing the Scuttle Crab for that. I think Juicebox is actually going to go in onto Aigu. Wow, he pops the spell shield a little bit early, but a huge shockwave comes out, and Medea instantly deletes Negus Kemba. Lutano's trying to do what he can to avenge his fallen comrades, but oh my gosh, Orianna flashes forward to get the double kill, and Lutano does get out with the help of his friendly frog friend. And that's going to be another transition into the bottom side for blue team. They have a nice, huge wave built up for them, and that's going to be set them up for a pretty decent tower siege. They don't, red team doesn't have any wave clear right now. If Renekton tries to go in, he can just get held by the Dark Binding, so he needs to back the heck off. And that's exactly what he's doing. Another inner turret falling for Team 11. They're getting slowly but surely more ahead in the gold. And even though Team 11 has killed all the outer turrets, you can see that all the inner turrets are starting to fall to the likes of Worrying Trend. And Spook Nuke is staying a little bit far here. Now that his team has backed off on the bottom side, he needs to make sure that the loss of pressure doesn't end up in him getting ganked. And does back off at the perfect time there, just early enough to get away safely. And Lutano, Tahm Kench going together now a little bit, but they don't really put any wards at the Baron area. They need to try to throw some of that vision out there so they don't end up getting baited. And now Anchi is going to be able to have control. So Lutano does throw one Sightstone there. He actually picks up a Deadman's Plate for himself. That'll give him a little bit more maneuverability in between the fights and being able to rotate around the map, but I don't know if red team is going to be able to just safely check into this Baron area, because you do have the Dark Binding, and Medea does so much damage with her Shockwave and Dissonance. You saw that in the last fight. She completely deleted 2 people. They took 90% of their damage, essentially, with that and the command attack. So, looks like Worrying Trend just trying to snuff out all of the jungle gold from the red side of the map. They do have another wave slowly pushing up. That's going to take a little bit of time there. So right now they just want to shove the mid lane, see if they can get some damage onto the turret, and then they can rotate into the bottom side where they'll have a huge amount of minions to help them with that siege. Now that they have control of the jungle, they can go in here and clear all the wards that red team just put down. But it looks like they don't have any upgrade sweepers either, so that's a little bit surprising given that they're level 13 and 14 mostly. So they have picked up some pink wards. And by some, I mean Vi has 1 in her inventory. But they haven't really controlled the enemy jungle vision in the game much at all. And Team 11 actually goes down to do the dragon, but this means that the inner turret for red side is completely exposed. Now, Lee Sin and Tristana are going to be able to pick that one up. That's dragon number 2, if they can start stacking them a little bit. But it's going to be a little bit of time before they can even come back here. And is Azir going to be able to clear the minions fast enough? Luckily, that wave was already mostly dead, so they will have an extra 30 seconds before the next wave hits the turret. And actually, it seems that the red side bottom lane started pushing instead. I don't remember seeing anyone go down there, which is kind of peculiar. Maybe it hit the turret already. But they're actually going to start the Baron. Little do they know that Team 11 knows they're doing it. They have it inside the pit, but the rest of the team isn't here. Lutano's the only one. Tahm Kench is actually popping his ultimate to try to get in there now, and here comes Renekton, all trying to flank him. Lee Sin does go in. Is he going to get the steal? Yes! It goes to Lutano, and now Team Raccoon flashes onto Igual to try to stun him. He's distracted in the backline, but he does fall, and that means that red team is now starting to get a little bit obliterated here. Even though Lutano stole a Baron, he did die instantly, so Renekton was able to get singled out there, and blue team can focus them one at a time, as opposed to the fact where Vi and Darius went in together, so it was much harder for Team 11 to destroy the front line on their side of the map. But now Nagus Kemba does walk over a blue ward and gets flashed on, but a good Devour keeps Tristana safe, and this is exactly why you pick Tahm Kench, just for those surprise situations like that. Also, I do appreciate the fact that Tahm Kench uses ultimate for that. I've seen many Tahm Kench games, but almost never do they actually use the ultimate. It's kind of sad, really, but because this kit is just so strong already, his ultimate is not the main focus of it at all. So game's going to calm down a little bit. Team 11 has the Baron buff to try to shove out the lanes, and we'll see if they actually go on the offensive for the first time since the beginning of the game. They've been completely shoved in by the entirety of blue team and their ability to skirmish and superior rotations together. So if Team 11 tries to go together, use the Renekton stun to establish some vision control and pick people out when they come to scout them, we'll see if they're able to do it. Looks like they're all just going to actually shove mid lane instead, and Orianna and Morgana do have decent wave clear, so, but against the Baron minions it's going to be much more difficult, so the Sivir will help out a little bit, and it looks like they can kill him pretty decently. Look at the amount of distance that Team 11 is giving in respect to the assault and battery from Vi. That is a worrying trend for the team playing against worrying trend, because if you have the Baron now, what is your game plan? You had the early game Tristana, Lee Sin, and Renekton, but that didn't really pan out. Now, really, all you can do is try to wait for blue team to get into a choke point where your Azir can really shred through the entire enemy team. But Orianna's shockwaves have been so good that usually when they're in a tight space, they get completely destroyed by Medea. I don't think Chief Raccoon is able to split push against Darius either. So they don't really have that option. They just need to try to snuff out Vision if they can, and they do actually lose the Baron buff, so they didn't really gain anything out of that, but they do have a little bit of pressure on this turret. Are they going to be able to get it down? Oh, sorry, that camera went the wrong way, but Lutano actually gets held by the Dark Binding, and Vi picks up that kill. And here comes Tahm Kench, using his friendly Devour to eat his own friend. They barely get any damage on the turret in exchange for a kill. Now Darius... Oh, okay, I thought that was a champion getting cut in two by his giant axe. This is pretty much turning into an ARAM. No wards on the flanks except for this one that's about to run out. Everyone's just running into the turrets and seeing if they can attack them one after the other. Looks like blue team's gonna get the better here, because Azir is not strong enough to really walk up and try to wave clear the minions by himself, and the rest of red team doesn't really have any wave clear, so Spookno just gonna be trying to take this. Lee Sin actually goes in, but Wow uses a spell shield on Dragon Rage. That means he stays in position. Juicebox guy using the Emperor's Divide offensively. I think he might have wanted to save that and stay in the safe back lines there. I don't think he wanted to jump forward for that. And Tahm Kench gonna be trying to pick up his friend Tristana. Actually, Simmer flashes forward, gets the triple kill. I don't think Lutano is gonna fall for the Quadra, but that's gonna be the inhibitor for Worrying Trend. Nice job again in this team fight. The backline for blue team is just able to stay safe against the Renekton Lee Sin, and a great spell shield from Wow I think is what might have really won that fight there. So with that, and then you saw Azir use his Shifting Sands to actually go in and do an insect on his Emperor's Divide, but I think you just want to keep Vi and everyone outside. You can still have superior range as Azir and Tristana against the entirety of blue team, so using the Emperor's Divide to push them into you did get the 2 kills, but then he didn't have it when he got surrounded by the rest of them. So I think he might be getting a little bit greedy in some of these engages in terms of what his role really wants to be. And using it aggressively might work out if you're really far ahead, but the fact is that they're not, and I think Lutano should be able to smite this away. Yup, that's going to be Dragon number 3. Give him a little bit more movement speed, which could prove to be crucial, because Orianna's using her dissonance to try to get in range, and here comes the Simmer ultimate. The Vi is going to flash over, but a good Emperor's Divide pushes her all the way to the other side, and they avoid getting caught out from that. They do need to clear these super minions in the mid lane, so this extra 30 seconds is going to be absolutely necessary to keep all of their structures alive. Now they need to rotate bottom. Put a ward over there, please. They have a couple wards deeper on, but that's not really going to help at all right now, except unless Renekton wants to teleport in for a flank, but he's just simply not strong enough to make that a viable option. Because if he teleports back, basically he gets deleted by the entirety of Worrying Trend, and I don't think Lee Sin can really... Because if Lee Sin tries to follow through, the rest of his team is still back. Tristana and Azir don't want to jump in after him, so... If Renekton were something like a Gnar, where he could run in and CC all of them, that might have worked a little better. But as it stands, Team 11 just kind of sits there and lets them... kill their inhibitor. They're going to go rotate into the... Well, they might have wanted to stay there, but they're going to play a little safer. Back up. They could actually go do Baron right here. I don't know if that's what they're going to do. Nagus Kema jumping forward with the rocket jump to try to spot out where the enemy is. And oh my gosh, he gets caught out. Is he going to go down here? The spell shield comes out too early. Lee Sin finishes that one up. He doesn't even need to pop his ultimate, but now, speaking of getting caught out, he gets apprehended and bound in a dark manner. Anchi is a little bit surrounded here, so everyone's trying to flash away. Spookno gets one dunk onto Lutano. Where's the rest of his team? A good flash chung from Tahm Kench. They now suddenly 2 for 1 on the red team. They don't have their jungler, but some of them are pinging the Baron. And blue team saying that they might all rotate top lane and get that inner turret, but Either that or just saying that that wave is building up for a push. Now that they have the other two inhibitors. But looks like red team going to try to clear up the Baron Vision. Unfortunately, they're just going to have to back up if they don't make a play soon, because their super minions are just going to continue to pound on their own and get the lanes into their own base. So here comes Spook Nuke. Now it's Wearing Trench time to just clear all the wards. Luckily, the red team did get Scuttle Crab, but they don't care. Spook Nuke just starts the Baron. He doesn't even have all of his team trying to call Lutano out on a bluff, saying, "Come at me, bro. I dare you." Looks like Lutano is brave enough to stick around there. Actually, he just kind of warded over the wall, but that is enough to get Darius to back off. I almost said Barius, which would be a very interesting champion, Volibear, with an axe or something like that, but Sivir throws out her Boomerang Blade, and now all blue team has to do is play the waiting game. Azir's in the bottom side, and he killed some of those minions, but because he was down there, now Wearing Trent can start the Baron, and they're pretty much going to try to do this. I don't know if Lutano can get a steal. He's going to go in. Nope. Goes to Baron, or the Baron goes to blue. And now he actually gets a new SAS, but he's all alone here. Renekton wasn't there for the follow-up, and the Chief Raccoon comes in a little bit late. He still does have his ultimate. There is the Assault and Battery. Forces the flash out of Renekton, and if they continue to get hit by the Dark Binding, that would be really bad. Basketball Freak 101 getting introduced to a Boomerang. The inhibitor in the mid lane is back up, but blue side has the Baron. A good shockwave yet again. Finishes off Azir. This is going to be the end of the game, it looks like. They have minions in every single lane, pounding down. A really good job by the blue side, knowing what each of their roles were in the fights, being able to destroy the diving combo of Lee Sin Renekton, and that pretty much allows them to pull through for this game. Igor tries to flash forward, but Chief Raccoon does kill Anchi. This should be the end of the game regardless. I don't think Chief Raccoon's going to kill anyone else. Darius does dunk one. He dunks another. Getting a double kill for fun. And, oh, is he going to get Negus Kemba? Triple kill. That does so much damage. Orianna steals a quadra kill, but that pounding is going to be over. Well played by Worrying Trend. I do think that continues their undefeated streak. Actually, I don't remember if they're undefeated. I can check real quick, though. Let me just switch back to the loading screen. Yeah, that does push them to 2-0, tied with Team 12. So we'll see which team is able to come out on top. And I don't know when Worrying Trend and Team 12 are playing in the last week, so that might turn out to be a battle for first place, which could get pretty exciting. So if we look at the damage, pretty much what you would expect, Sivir, Orianna, and Darius in that order. So well played by the blue side. Individually, Team 11 played pretty well, but there's several instances where they just didn't really do things together, or when they had engages, or when they engaged, I should say, they just weren't really at the exact same time. Occasionally, Azir would kind of get a little aggressive in the fights and then end up dying instead of using his ultimate to continue to peel. So a little bit unfortunate for Team 11. I do think that makes them 0-2, but it's not over for them. They can still come back if they continue to win the rest of the game. So if I had to give an MVP for that game, well, they all played pretty much really well. Iguao had that brilliant spell shield. Anchi landed bindings all game. The new essayist really was the instigating shot caller. Well, not shot caller, but he was the one that decided the fights and really followed through with them with his ultimate, knowing when to go in and snowballing the game. Spook Nuke played so well in that lane top, so he actually got that 1v2 kill. Medea landing shockwaves all game. So I don't know. I think everyone gets a thumbs up here. Although that's a cheap way out. I do want to point out that I don't think the cleanse was really needed at any point in the game, so Medea does not get the MVP. I'll give it to Aigu. Wow, 9-1 and 13. He was just on point pretty much through the whole game. Only had one flashy play, but just always consistent. He also, I believe, had the most damage. So there it is, Aigu. Nice job. And thanks for watching, guys. Hope it was a pretty entertaining stream. Have a good Saturday, and I'll see you later.